Welcome, dear viewers, to the Word of Life. Join us as we delve into Moses' life and discover the wisdom and encouragement it has for every Christian. We will unravel the tale of Moses, a man who made decisions that changed the course of an entire nation through the lens of the Bible, and discover the important teachings that can guide us in our own walk of faith. Once there lived in the land of Egypt a man named Moses. He was born during a period of tremendous oppression when the Egyptians persecuted the Israelites. Nobody could have predicted that Moses would become such an important figure in the history of faith. Moses' mother, Jochebed, made a brave choice to save her son from the Pharaoh's decree to kill all Hebrew male infants. She placed him in a basket, set it afloat in the Nile River, and entrusted him to God's care. Exodus 2 verses 2 and 3 states, "And the woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch. Then she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile." Pharaoh's daughter discovered the newborn Moses in the basket thanks to God's providence. She nurtured him as her own, and he grew up in Egypt's palace, being schooled in all Egyptian wisdom. Exodus 2 verse 6 tells us, "When the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river, she saw the basket among the reeds and sent her female servant to get it." Moses was nurtured in Pharaoh's palace as a prince. He possessed wealth, power, and luxury that most people could only dream of. Nonetheless, he never felt really at ease in this setting. Despite his royal upbringing, he was an Israelite at heart. This personal dilemma most certainly gnawed at his conscience as he observed his countrymen suffer under Egyptian rule. His decision to leave the palace and join the Israelites was more than just a rejection of his privileged position. It was a conscious decision to prefer God's values over worldly riches. He saw that the ephemeral pleasures of life in the palace were insignificant in comparison to the eternal rewards of obedience to God. Moses' decision also demonstrated his trust in God's plan. He believed that God had a better plan for him and the Israelites, even if it meant leaving the safety and security of the palace behind. Moses' life was propelled by his faith in God's plan and providence. He shows sympathy for the suffering by siding with the Israelites. He sensed their anguish, understood their difficulties, and joined in their pain. This empathy and compassion resonate with believers today, prompting us to empathize with those in agony and take action to alleviate their suffering. Exodus 3 verses 2 to 4 reads, "There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, 'I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up.' When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, 'Moses, Moses!' Moses, once a prince in Egypt and now a shepherd in the wilderness, found himself in a seemingly ordinary and desolate setting. It was in the midst of this solitude, while tending to his father-in-law's flock, that something extraordinary occurred. A bush was on fire, yet it was not consumed by the flames. This anomaly caught Moses' attention, prompting him to investigate. God revealed himself in a stunning way to Moses as he approached the burning bush. "Moses! Moses!" he said from within the bush. This supernatural presence and the call by name were unmistakable evidence that this was no ordinary occurrence. It was a supernatural meeting, a direct revelation from God. God revealed his plan to Moses during this encounter. According to the Bible, "I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey." God was calling Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt and to be their liberator. Moses obviously had reservations about starting such a tremendous assignment. He was self-conscious and doubted his competence to lead the Israelites. God, on the other hand, assured him of his presence and guidance. God told Moses, "I will be with you." Exodus 3 verse 12. This assurance of God's presence inspired Moses to embrace the divine commission. The burning bush encounter serves as a powerful reminder that God often calls us in unexpected places and circumstances, urging us to step into roles we might feel unprepared for. Moses' story encourages us to be attentive to God's call, trust in his timing, and rely on his presence when embarking on our own journeys of faith and service. One day, as he witnessed an Egyptian mistreating an Israelite, he couldn't bear the injustice. In his anger, Moses killed the Egyptian, and fearing Pharaoh's retribution, he fled into the wilderness. There, he found refuge in the land of Midian, married a woman named Zipporah, and tended to his father-in-law, Jethro's flock. Little did he know that this wilderness would become the backdrop for one of the most extraordinary events in history. Moses returned to Egypt with his brother Aaron and a divine mandate from God. He confronted Pharaoh, demanding the release of the Israelites, but Pharaoh's heart remained hardened, and God sent a series of plagues upon Egypt to demonstrate his power. These plagues, which included locusts, frogs, and darkness, finally led Pharaoh to relent. He allowed the Israelites to leave, but as they journeyed towards freedom, he had a change of heart and pursued them with his chariots and army. This was a critical moment in the history of the Israelites as they stood at the banks of the Red Sea with the Egyptian army in pursuit. Moses begins by addressing the people's fear, recognizing that it is a natural reaction when faced with a dangerous circumstance. Fear is a strong emotion that can immobilize and obstruct progress. Moses encourages the Israelites, and hence all believers, to conquer their fear. Moses begins by addressing the people's fear, acknowledging the natural response when confronted with a dire situation. Fear is a powerful emotion that can paralyze and hinder progress. Moses encourages the Israelites, and by extension all believers, to overcome fear. This message resonates with the broader biblical theme of "fear not," which appears repeatedly in the Bible, reminding us of God's presence, power, and faithfulness. The second part of Moses' message is a call to stand firm. In the face of danger and uncertainty, he implores the Israelites to hold their ground, to remain steadfast in their faith. This is a lesson for believers. When confronted with adversity, it's essential to stand firm in our faith and trust in God's plan. The Israelites were caught between the Red Sea and the approaching Egyptian army. Their hearts were filled with fear and despair, but Moses, in response to God's word, raised his staff above the waters. The Red Sea miraculously divided in a magnificent display of divine intervention, establishing a dry road across the midst of the waters. The Israelites, witnessing this incredible miracle, crossed to the other side. But as the Egyptian army attempted to follow, the waters returned, drowning Pharaoh's forces and securing the Israelites' escape. On the far shore of the Red Sea, the Israelites celebrated their newfound freedom with a song of praise and gratitude. They sang of God's mighty deeds and his faithfulness in delivering them from bondage. This Song of Moses became a testament to their faith and a reminder of God's power and love. Just as Moses led the Israelites through the parted waters of the Red Sea to freedom, we too can find hope and deliverance in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. This reminds us that even in our most trying moments, when we stand firm in faith and trust in God, we can overcome the obstacles that lay before us. Moses' journey From the humble beginnings of a burning bush in the wilderness to the miraculous crossing of the Red Sea, remains one of the most enduring and powerful stories of faith and liberation in human history. It reminds us that in our darkest hours, God can perform the most extraordinary miracles and lead us from slavery to freedom, from despair to hope. As we conclude our exploration of the vital secrets from the life of Moses, it is our hope that these lessons will continue to inspire and guide every believer on their journey of faith. Moses, a humble shepherd chosen to lead a nation to freedom, embodies the qualities of unwavering faith, courage, and obedience that we can all aspire to. His story reveals that, in the most challenging of circumstances, we can find strength by trusting in God's divine plan. Just as Moses encountered a burning bush in the wilderness and witnessed the parting of the Red Sea, we too can experience extraordinary moments of divine intervention in our lives when we remain faithful and open to God's guidance. May the vital secrets of Moses serve as a source of encouragement, inspiration, and guidance for every believer, equipping them to face life's challenges with unwavering faith and the knowledge that, just as Moses led the Israelites to the Promised Land, we too can journey toward our own promised blessings. If you enjoyed this topic and found it valuable, please consider giving it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe for more insightful content. Your support allows us to continue sharing meaningful messages and stories. Remember, the journey of faith is a collective one, and together we can discover and apply these vital secrets in our daily lives. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Subscribe and stay connected for more inspiration and knowledge on various topics.